There's nothing more satisfying than finding the perfect green paint for your living room. Except maybe popping open that can of Valspar Ultra and rolling that first smooth stroke on the wall. And there's nothing more satisfying than admiring your freshly painted wall.
Ooh.
Except maybe peeling off the painter's tape to see those crisp edges. But the most satisfying part of all? Valspar Ultra's price tag, starting at $29.98 a gallon. Affordable, durable, available at Lowe's. Price varies by Shein.
When we started writing our thoughts down on paper, it opened up endless possibilities. Ideas could grow beyond the borders of the mind, and it changed the world. Somewhere along the way, we lost touch with paper, distracted by devices made for every purpose except for thinking and focus. On edge, waiting for the next notification. But what if new technology didn't pull us away from paper, but brought us closer to it? Listen. That's not paper. It's the sound of the new Remarkable Paper Pro, rewriting the future. A paper tablet with a true color ink display, gentle reading light, and unheard of tactility. With digital features for taking notes, thinking, and organizing, without any distractions. Paper is about to change the world again. Get your paper tablet at remarkable.com today.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls, or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
The Perpetual Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 92, New Jersey Devils team review. How's it going, fellas?
Who's a 92 that you can think of?
Jonathan Drouin.
Well done, sir. Well done. You seem to surprise me with these things. I'm very, very proud of you. That's why you're in the middle of this scene.
Yeah, tonight. Guys, another guest.
Another guest.
Another one.
Yes, absolutely. The last one was really good, so I'm really looking forward to learning more about the Devils today, bringing our listeners some more insight on the Devils and what they could expect fantasy-wise from this team for this upcoming 2025-26 season.
Yeah, and here's the breakdown for the listeners who haven't listened to the Carolina episode yet. Intro, team overview. We're going to do roster and lineup breakdown, goaltending outlook, power play, top scorers, breakouts, sleepers, busts, prospects to watch, and lastly, our favorite, the hot takes and season predictions. So there's a lot of content, and we can't wait to get to it. So shall we start?
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go.
Let's introduce our boy. He is a hockey content creator, host of the Devil's State of Mind podcast, contributor to Pucks and Pitchforks on Fansided, the voice that has Devils fans glued to their headsets. He is MVP Neil Villapiano. No pyro fireworks, Neil?
No, I'm fine. No, I don't have I don't have an
it.
Apple or Mac computer, so I can't do the special effects. But wow, what an intro! That was fantastic, and you got the pronunciation of my last name like almost perfectly. That was even with the Italian in the back. I love it. That was great.
Well, you're paisans. Vince and I here, we're brothers. We're Italian, and
we took in the Greek.
He's our adopted brother, Greek here, Nick.
My family's from southern Italy. We're actually from Naples, so we're
we're right around the corner. We're really close.
Yeah, we're
love
really
it.
close.
Love it. I'm also a huge soccer guy. So watching Napoli this year was quite a treat.
And this is where you're not gonna like us, Neil.
Yeah.
It's Juventus, isn't it? You're gonna tell me?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
my
it.
God. Well, I don't know. But can I?
All right, end the podcast. End the podcast.
Can I curse on this podcast? Sounds like Juve merda. Sorry.
That's pretty much what we hear all the time.
All the time.
It's okay. Nobody heard about the Greek league, so I'm still safe. All right, I could stay on.
You know what, Neil? Vince and I just got back from Italy 2 weeks ago, and I was in Naples, and if you didn't know they won the Scudetto, let me tell you, being there, you knew
really?
it was all
I
over.
didn't know. Really
It
did
was
not know
in
that.
your face, and like, but it was beautiful. I'd go back. So no, back to we're going to talk New Jersey Devils, right?
Absolutely.
So a lot happened with the Devils. Let's.
Tell the listeners where they could find Neil,
Oh yes.
and then we'll get right into it. So Neil, where can people find you? Where can people find your work promoting the Devils and talking about Devils hockey?
Absolutely. So you can check out the podcast. You know, if you want to listen to it, you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all those. And if you're on Apple or Spotify, give a 5-star rating. Really does help out the podcast tremendously. Also give a rating to these guys as well. They are fantastic. You can also check me out on YouTube as well. Devil State of Mind podcast. You can just find me on there. I'm getting close to 150 subscribers. So
Yes, let's bring that up. Let's bring that up.
Please bring that up. That would help me tremendously. You can follow me on Instagram at Devil State of Mind, Twitter at Devil State. Also, if you happen to be on Facebook, you can slap a follow on Facebook if you like. I'm surprisingly getting a lot more followers on Facebook of late. Not
Really?
sure how that's happening,
It's a
but
resurgence.
yeah, and I'm also on TikTok at neil.villapiano. I post all of my clips from the podcast episodes over on there, and also graphics that I make that a bunch of people have seen. And I'm also on Blue Sky as well. Just search Neil Villapiano, and you can find me on Blue Sky. I'll post Devil stuff on there as well, and I think that covers all the grounds.
Awesome. So we can pretty much find you anywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. I simplify it. Just search my name. You'll find me somewhere.
All right, let's get into it. So, you've recently signed Kevin De Bruyne, and you signed Conte to an extension.
Of course.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. So,
I was like, all right, you want to talk about that? Like, okay. Well, we lost today in a preseason game, so we're off to a fantastic start.
if I lost you, it was just a soccer take, but we're going to get back to the Devils right away here. So, so what's your take heading into the season for the New Jersey Devils? I think the Jack Hughes injury hurt them quite a bit last year. Are they trending upwards if they stay healthy? Any key additions you want to talk about? Where is the team trending going into the 2025-2026 season?
I think that the Devils right now are at a bit of a crossroads, honestly, because I think that the way the team has been built is based around Jack Hughes and his availability. A lot of the time, as we've seen in the past, when Jack Hughes isn't in the lineup, although the Devils still have several talented players like Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meyer, they don't perform at the same level all the time. Jack Hughes is the cog of the Devils machine. When he goes, the rest of the team goes, as we've seen also numerous times. So really looking at it from Tom Fitzgerald, the general manager of the Devils, his perspective, this team needs depth. And yes, they have added some pieces, but there needs to be more. I think they're also lacking another top 6 winger. And there's been rumors flying around about Dougie Hamilton, Dawson Mercer, to a lesser extent, even Andre Palat in his contract situation. And obviously you want to try to re-sign, you have to re-sign Luke Hughes. And really it's just going to be a matter of a short-term contract or a long-term contract. I think ideally you'd like a long-term, 7-8 years. But it's being delayed because of the fact that the Devils don't have enough cap space to make it work right now. So other moves will still be made. It just depends on what day it happens. It might happen by the time this episode comes out. Who knows? But I think for the Devils, they are at a crossroads because of the fact that you have several of your best players on these really team favorable contracts, and you've fixed the goaltending. You've made the defense one of the best in the league, but you haven't made them a full, complete team yet. And they need to take that next step. They have to get better. They have to go deeper in the playoffs. I think even making the playoffs last year with everything that happened was a success. And yes, they did win a game, so at least they didn't get swept. But in many other areas, the season was a failure because they still didn't reach the level that they're capable of. The Devils have still not gotten back to the success that they had in 22-23. The longer that we go, the more it seems like it was a fluke. That was like a one-off, and the Devils are not going to go much further with this core. A lot of people are even saying, "Oh, this is the new age Toronto Maple Leafs." I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there yet.
It takes a lot to get there.
It takes a lot to get there. Now, does it help that we have their former head coach? Yes, of course. No, I think that the Devils are at a crossroads, and it's time. You have to be aggressive, and Tom Fitzgerald has to be aggressive. I think he's been too conservative at times, and he has to start making some moves that might shake up the core a little bit, but are necessary in order for this team to take the next step forward. I mean, at the time of this recording that we're sitting here, a couple years ago, the Panthers traded for Matthew Tkachuk, and it shocked the entire hockey world. After a team that won the President's Trophy, you trade away Jonathan Huberdeau, you get Matthew Tkachuk, and fast forward to the present day, and look what's happened. I'm not saying that one move is going to change the trajectory of this entire franchise, but that's kind of what I'm talking about, where moves have to be made. You can't bring the same team back. And there are some new guys, but there needs to be more in order for this fan base and this team, I think, to feel satisfied going into this season.
Yeah, and one name linked to the Devils that doesn't seem to be going away is Jason Robertson. So is that would be a nice addition.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just speak really quickly about the Jason Robertson thing. I think, number one, I think the Stars would be ridiculous to let him go. I think that there is a world where they're gonna figure it out. But if he really is truly available, I think the Devils need to do everything possible to get him, because I think he's an impact player. I think he would fit in with this team very well. He's in the prime of his career. This is a guy that can score 30-plus goals beyond Jack's wing and play really, really well. As far as what the Devils would give up, I mean, it just depends. We really don't know. We don't know exactly what offers have been made, if anybody's even made an offer to the Dallas Stars. But if you could get a guy like Jason Robertson, Jordan Kyrou's name has come up in the past, that would be great. I know Quinn Hughes keeps getting brought up, but I mean, the dude's a defenseman. And right now, respectfully, the Devils don't really need another defenseman. I know he's great, and he's, the oldest Hughes brother, and I know at some point that's probably going to happen. But I think right now there's other areas of this team that need to be fixed before you start making a move like that. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, the roster had some turnover, right? So we're talking about signing in Evgeny Dadonov. Connor Brown was somebody that you brought in as well. Arseny Grzelcyk came in as well. So we're looking from a fantasy perspective here, and we're trying to figure out, do any of these moves actually shake up the top six? What do we think? Give us your quick overall assessment of what the top six is going to look like here.
For sure. So, the top six is going to be fairly the same as it's been for a while now. You have Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, and Timo Meier usually on that top line. Then you have Jack Hughes, and you might see Stefan Nason on that top six to start, just because of the year that he had last year. Had a career high in goals and points, was very, very well. And then you have that wild card with, if Andre Palat is still on this team, is he going to be in that top six? Most likely that's going to be the case. However, if the Devils move him, whether they buy him out or trade him, then that question becomes a little bit more complicated, because you're not sure exactly what other moves the Devils are going to make. So that's kind of the hard thing with this right now, is that this team is still not complete, and it's not like we could confidently say this is who we're going with going into next year. But if I were to make a guess, that would be what I would go for. But you bring up Arseny Grzelcyk, and I have been a massive fan of this kid for several years. This Devils team, they drafted him all the way back in 2019. He finally is coming over after several successful seasons in the KHL, winning the Gargarian Cup with Avangard Omsk a couple of years ago, playing alongside former Devil Ilya Kovalchuk, whose contract is finally off the Devils books at this offseason. Thank goodness for that.
Jeez.
But this is a really, really talented kid. he's 27. So he's not really a young player. I mean, he's never played in the NHL, so this is going to be somewhat of a risk for him. But it's a 1-year entry-level contract deal. It's a prove-it deal. And I think if he can play at the level that he's capable of playing, I think he ends up being a top 6 winger for this team moving forward throughout the season. And that could be the solution that we find to adding a top 6 scoring winger to play alongside Jack Hughes. Is it a risk? Absolutely. But I feel confident that this kid can come in and help produce for this Devils team.
As it stands, he's the X factor.
He is the X factor, and that's great information for fantasy.
Oh yeah.
If you're looking for a sleeper, you're looking for somebody that could jump into that top 6 next season. We just gave you someone right there, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we might not be able to pronounce his name, but he's there.
That's very true. Very true. I can't wait until Vince. Can you just pronounce his name, please?
Yeah, we'll take a pass on it for now.
There's a running joke on this podcast about Vince and name pronunciations.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But yeah, so you kind of mentioned the top line already, right?
Yeah.
And how stable in your mind would be that top line? Are they one of the more steady top lines? There's not going to be really much change on that. I mean, obviously nobody has a crystal ball, but in your opinion, as somebody that follows Devils closely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that they're fairly stable. I think the only thing is that Sheldon Keefe does have a tendency to shake things up. Not anything crazy, but maybe move one of them down, move someone back up. It kind of depends on chemistry because it's so important for this team. But I think for the most part, you're going to see those guys stay together for the most part. The only guy that I could see getting moved is Jesper Bratt because he has played very well on Jack Hughes' wing, and that will probably play a factor into Bratt maybe not playing on the top line, but playing on that second line. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, why isn't Jack your first-line center? To be quite frank, the best centerman on this team is Nico Hischier. Just from a bona fide what a centerman's job is, Nico Hischier's the best. And he's the captain of this team, and he leads a lot by example. And he's coming off a career year in goals and a guy who finished 4th in the Selke Trophy voting and even had 2 votes for the Hart Trophy this past year. I mean, that's how valuable not only the Devils, but a lot of the league sees in a guy like him. With Timo Meier, his fellow countryman, I think it's important for them to play together for not just the Devils, but also for the fact that they are probably going to play together on the same line potentially for Switzerland in the Olympics in 2026. Potentially. But I think overall, I'd say at least 2/3 of that top line is stable. That doesn't mean that Jesper Bratt's going to get less minutes or not get as many opportunities. He'll get the same amount. He just may not play on the same line with Nico and Timo the entire year. He might play a lot more with Jack, which also would make a lot of sense considering that a lot of Jesper Bratt's success this year, not all of it, but a lot of it, did come when he played with Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince?
Okay, Neil. So we always have a thing that when the first year a player goes on a new team, to me it's always it's a getting used to the environment, getting used to the new system. So for goaltending in Markstrom, he didn't have a bad year last year. I mean, he still had, if I'm not mistaken, he had 26 wins. Oh, I had it here. Here we go. Is it here? Yeah, 26 wins, 16 losses, a 900 save percentage, 2.5 goals against average, 4 shutouts. Do you see him as a second year being more comfortable with the New Jersey Devils? And like you said, like this defense, it's like almost one of the top 3 defense. You have Hamilton, you'll get Luke Hughes signed. You have Pesci, Singletary. You have Nemec as a young player. Then you have Silyev still. So do you believe that Markstrom can go back to that Calgary year where he just ran away with like all those stats?
That's a fantastic question. The thing I'll say about it is that before Markstrom got hurt last year, he was playing at a Vezina level. It's just that the team in front of him was struggling to score at that point. That's when after the calendar year flipped to 2025 is when the Devils started to struggle consistently scoring. And they were losing games only 2-1 or 3-2, and it wasn't really on Markstrom per se. And it was unfortunate that Markstrom got hurt. and missed a month because he probably would have gotten to 30-ish wins if he was playing. But to answer your question, I think that Markstrom is definitely a lot more comfortable going into year two. It's basically the same guys that are going to be in front of him. And the thing that I love about Markstrom is that he's a competitor. He wants to win as badly as anybody. And he's the first one to criticize himself when things are not going well. And the big body that he has, being 6'6" and being able to play so big in front of the crease, he's a guy that's going to take some risks, and that's going to not always give Devils fans something to be like totally thrilled about, because sometimes they'll be out of position and you freak out. But then he makes several big saves. I think the one game you got to look at is their win over the Seattle Kraken in Seattle, where he made 3 different unbelievable saves in the same game to give the Devils that win. But that just proves the risk reward that you have with a guy like Markstrom. Also, I say this with a lot of players. Markstrom has 1 year left on his contract. This is his last year of his current deal he's on. It wouldn't surprise me if he took his game to a different level, because he's trying to prove his worth.
Yeah.
He's trying to prove his worth to the Devils. He's trying to prove his worth that he can still play at an elite level. There's a reason why people still look at Markstrom as a top 10 goaltender in the league, because he has the capability. So I do think that Markstrom will be much more comfortable. Not saying he wasn't last year, but I think, like you said, it takes time for a guy to get acclimated to a new team. But Jacob Markstrom has said about 4 or 5 times that I can remember about how much he loves being in New Jersey and how much he believes in this franchise moving forward. And to have a guy like that in your foxhole is just huge. And you bring back Jake Allen as well, and you have one of the better goaltending duos going into next year. I would say to a lot of people who are doing fantasy that even if you get Jake Allen as a backup goaltender or a third goaltender or however many goaltenders you want to carry in your league, if you're carrying more than 3, you're a sick person, in my opinion. That's the way I look at it personally. When I play fantasy, if I see somebody with 4+, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Very concerned. Because I'm not a fan of hogging goaltenders trade. That's ridiculous. But Jake Allen is one of the better backup goaltenders in the league. There's a reason why he was so coveted in free agency. Didn't get there because he signed a 5-year deal with the Devils. But having that stability back there is going to be very important for this Devils team and the way that they play. So overall, I think Markstrom's going to be even better this year. I feel that confident about it.
Yeah, and we know Allen from his time with Montreal, right? He was always a steady presence.
Is New Jersey going to have the same problem that Montreal had when we had to carry 3 goalies with Nico Dawes?
That's another great question, because I know it's been brought up.
Yeah.
I know that there's been rumors about Dawes being on the trading block. I think the Devils are not ready to move on from Dawes. I think that they are very comfortable with him being one of the 2 guys in Utica to start the year, understanding the fact that also both of your 2 top goaltenders on the Devils are in their mid-30s, which, as we know, the older you get, the more likely that you're going to run into issues physically. We've seen it before with goaltenders. And Nico Dawes has played over 50 games in the NHL. I wrote an article about Nico Dawes a couple weeks ago saying that Dawes has proved himself to be an NHL caliber goaltender. Is he a starter? Probably not, but he could be a very reliable backup. He was a big help to this team when Markstrom was out, and it was him and Jake Allen trying to help this team continue to win games and continue to get them in the position that they ultimately got, which was in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was a waiver wire pickup for us during the season.
Exactly. And I he is not a bad option if he ends up playing games. He's not a bad option because he will have some really strong games. He got his first shutout against Nashville this year. 2 years ago, he set the record for most saves in an outdoor game in NHL history against the Flyers in the Stadium Series.
Yeah.
This kid has the ability to do some really good things for this team. There are some exciting guys in the pipeline, but obviously for fantasy terms, you don't know or do not care about those guys until they get pulled up. But nonetheless, I don't see Dawes getting moved, but I also will say this. Wouldn't surprise me that much. The Devils got a good deal for Dawes and moved on from him, because of what they have in the pipeline as well behind Dawes, but also with what we have in net right now.
With the numbers he put up, I'm sure there'd be takers.
Oh yeah, and like
right
I'm
in
an I'm an owner of Yegorov, so I'm actually really excited to see what he's going to turn out to be. Because we play a lot of Dynasty as well, so we go deep into fantasy. We're a little bit sick in the head, but yeah. So it's
between that and people who are diehard fantasy football fans. I see no difference.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Is that it on goalies?
Yes, that's it on goalies for now.
All right, moving on to the power play. Devils were third in the league with the power play of 28.2%.
So say that again.
Third in the league.
Third.
So, I mean, you wouldn't think you'd have any questions regarding PP1, but there is. We know who the forwards are. But now, who's at the point? Is it Luke Hughes or is it Dougie Hamilton? Because neither of them seem to be healthy at the same time.
Neil, if you haven't noticed, this is our TMZ section of the podcast.
Yeah.
So anytime Junior speaks, it's always TMZ, like Robertson talk. And
So, that again, another good question, because there is, first and foremost, there are rumors about Dougie Hamilton potentially getting moved.
Yeah.
Although from the sources that I've been told, they really haven't talked, like they haven't gotten far with it. I think that the Devils have explored it, but I don't think they have as much interest as people might think that they do for Dougie Hamilton. I think they would need a blowaway deal. I've said before that you have to get some impact players back. It can't just be a salary dump, because that would be a waste of time. And you're taking so much skill out of your back end if you're just getting rid of Dougie. Now, if you're getting Quinn Hughes for Dougie Hamilton and other assets, then fine. I could see where that would be okay. But other than that, I don't see the point. But yeah, no, that's a really tough question, because Luke Hughes really stepped up big in Dougie Hamilton's absence. I think really showed that he could be a number one power play guy. I would honestly consider moving Luke Hughes to the top power play unit and putting Dougie at the second, because I think one of the big problems last year is that, the Devils did finish top 3 in the power play, but how many power play goals did they score in the playoffs? The answer is 0. They had 20-plus opportunities and did not score once. Now, was Dougie Hamilton fully healthy? No. Was Luke Hughes? Luke Hughes missed several games because he got hurt. I mean, that right there is just, again, a big problem with the Devils health-wise. But I think for the Devils, they need to have more of a balance on both power play units. You need to continue to create endless pressure. That's something that Sheldon Keefe has constantly talked about, endless pressure. And Jeremy Colleton, give him a lot of credit. I think he really, really figured out the power play, but we got to get some more offense going, particularly from that second unit. Putting a guy like Dougie Hamilton there, I think would help, because you have a guy that truly is going to shoot the puck. And that's, I think, a really important thing. So I would probably move Luke Hughes to the top power play unit, and then I would put Dougie at the second.
so do you think, and sorry, I know it's your segment, but I'm just going to jump in here.
How dare you?
How dare I? Evgeny Dadonov, does he have an opportunity here to maybe sneak onto that top power play? He's played for years with the Stars, and before that,
Played for like half the NHL.
Canadians.
half the NHL
I
at this
think,
point.
I think it would be easier
Boston.
to name the teams he didn't play with.
Right. Here's the thing. I would say that Dadonov is more of a sleeper pick for people than they realize, because he signed for 1 year at $1 million for a guy that scored 20 goals last year and had over 40 points. I think 46, if I'm not mistaken. This guy can score. This guy can produce even at 35, 36 years of age. And so I could definitely see him sneaking onto a first power play unit. And you know what? If that means we move, I don't know, trying to give an example. If you're moving, if you're making like Timo Meyer go to the second unit, which I still don't like, because I really think he needs top power play minutes.
Yeah.
I think you're creating that balance. You're creating that depth. But also, I think Dadonov would fit well as one of the main guys on the second power play, a guy who will shoot the puck, a guy who will get in front of the net. We've seen it many times. He's not afraid to get into those areas. So I think overall, it's a guy that could definitely help on this power play. And that's, again, he's a depth guy. That's why we brought him in.
Yeah.
I mean, I would ask you if you think it would regress, improve, or stay the same, but the elements are the same. So I still see them having a great power play. But I do have a question regarding the power play, and it's, if there is an injury with one of the 4 forwards, do you foresee a situation where they put Luke Hughes and Dougie both on power play 1? Or is that out of the normal possibility?
Said if there's an injury, it's not if, it's when.
And when. Well, and they both need to be healthy for that to happen as well, right? So,
of course. I think there's always the possibility, because I think that when this team is not at full strength, they're going to try to be more top heavy. That's what we saw last year. Didn't always produce the most success. I think there's definitely a possibility, but I don't think it's as likely as one might think, because again, to be very blunt to both Luke Hughes and Dougie Hamilton, they are both not the best defensive defensemen that we have on the team. Yeah. So if one of them makes a mistake, or the puck bounces over their stick and the other team has a chance the other way, I'm not really super happy with that. That's why they're not playing. That's why they're not on the same defensive pairing to start the game either, because of that reasoning. But again, with Sheldon Keefe and the way things can adapt, it's always a possibility. I just hope it doesn't have to come to that.
Very well.
All right. Well, now the fun part of the episode. This is the part where we start talking.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, that was the slow stuff, right? I mean, that's what Junior's here for. But we have breakout players, sleepers, and busts. So I wanna kind of talk to you a little bit about breakout players. So you kind of mentioned to me already Arseni before, and I won't mention his last name because I'll save that for Vince.
Oh, because you can't even say it. Say it, Nick.
Would he be considered your breakout player for this year, or do you have somebody else in mind from the Devils that you see taking a big leap forward?
There is one guy, and he's been the subject of some trade rumors of late, and that's Dawson Mercer.
I know he's going to knew it. Don Mercer. That's what I was going to ask him about.
And the thing about it is because, first of all, Dawson Mercer, with how fragile the Devils can be health-wise, Dawson Mercer has played every single game of his career since he got in the league. And that's quite impressive considering. I mean, as the old saying goes, the best ability is availability, right? And he had a down year this year. He had a sophomore slump in year 3, which is like kind of impressive because his first 2 years, I thought he was tremendous.
Yeah.
This is also a guy that can be both a centerman and play on the wing. And I know people say, oh, he's not really a centerman. He's just a winger. The fact that he can do both is the most important thing. It's a Swiss Army kind of player. Yeah, it's the versatility.
Yeah.
I think that he has a lot to prove in the second year of this contract that he signed after last year. And I think it's important for him to get off to a good start. And, the Devils are going to have to take some risks, but they're going to need guys to elevate their game. And I think that Dawson Mercer can be that guy. I feel confident. I still feel confident in his abilities that he can produce at a high level as we've seen before. So that would be the guy that I would definitely keep my eye on as a wild card kind of player, because I really think that wherever he's playing in this lineup, I think he can definitely produce.
All right. You guys feel good about that?
I'm surprised you didn't say Paul Cotter. He could have the, first month Wayne Gretzky type thing. The first month scored 10
Paul
goals.
Cotter made our waiver wire.
Month and a half of last year was...
Man, he should ask for a new contract.
This is not the NFL.
He's going to hold in. All right. Any player that you see that, a little bit negative side now, all right? Any player that you see that might be overvalued or overhyped going into drafts for fantasy next year from the Devils?
Palat.
Well, I would say Palat, but I feel like that's the easy answer. Right? And also if Palat's still on the team, he's going to get top 6 minutes, so he'll have a higher chance of at least somewhat producing.
True.
I would say Cody Glass. And the reason I say that is because Cody Glass had what I like to call Jeremy Lin month when he got traded to the Devils, and this was coming right after Jack Hughes got hurt, where the glimmer of excitement that we had was Cody Glass seemed to be scoring every night, and it was pretty remarkable what he was doing. And I think that fans got a little too into him in terms of the expectations. And we have to face the reality that this kid is a bottom 6 guy, most likely our 4th line center, which is nothing wrong because he's still a decent depth player. But I think if you're expecting him to get to like 25 points, 30 points, I think you're going to be kind of disappointed because he's not going to, I think, produce a lot of points. I think he'll provide in other ways that don't come on the score sheet or in the fantasy world doesn't really come up as a point. But I would say, yeah, I'd probably say Cody Glass. Yeah.
All right. That's good.
Neil, your prospect pipeline. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. If I wasn't a Montreal Canadiens fan, I'm a little jealous of the names that I'm seeing.
You don't think I'm jealous of the Canadians?
So I mean, you got Luke Hughes, you got Nemec, you got Silyev, you got Seamus Casey, and these are just 4 defensemen.
These are all defensemen.
These are all defensemen. It's ridiculous. Then you have Griciak.
Not bad.
All right.
That was very good.
Passable.
That was very good.
That's passable. I'm good. Besides, the biggest problem I see with the New Jersey Devils right now is at wing, right? Like their wing is really weak. Down the middle, their skeleton is Hughes, Hischier, Mercer. Like you can't ask for better than that.
Right.
Do they have anybody in the prospect line that could maybe jump up and take one of that winger spot?
Yeah. I'm surprised you skipped right over him. It's Lenny Haminaho.
Oh, wow.
Devils mid-round pick.
Now I know why he skipped over.
He was actually even here.
Devils drafted him a couple of years ago, and he's played in the top Finnish league. He's played for Finland at the World Juniors. He has a really good shot. He reminds me a little bit of David Pastrnak with the ability that he can score at a decent rate. This is a guy that you're going to...
Fantasy managers will love that.
Yeah, I know. Fantasy managers would love any comparison. Fantasy managers are like when fans get excited about player comparisons when they draft somebody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Vibe. He's the next Pavel Datsyuk. One pick. But no, this is a kid who doesn't have the world's greatest speed, but is a really, really good power forward and a guy that can find the back of the net. This is a kid that you're going to see at training camp too, which is going to be exciting because it's the first time that we're going to get a chance to see him play. Do I expect him to make the team out of camp? No. But if he did, I'd be surprised, and I'd be pleasantly surprised. I didn't think Dawson Mercer was going to make the team out of training camp his rookie year, and he did. He surprised the hell out of me, I'll tell you that. And he's been a staple in the lineup ever since. But you do bring up a good point with the fact that the Devils, they are so infatuated with getting more centermen. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out. They have been lacking at getting wingers. But Haminaho and also Griciak as well are guys that can play on that wing and can certainly contribute. But yeah, I would say that that's a guy that I would tell Devils fans, keep your eye on. I mean, most of Devils world knows about Lenny Haminaho from the amount of times that we push it out. But, look, Griciak Mania has been around for like 3 years now. At this point.
We just heard about him, so...
And you just heard about him, and now you're going to hear a lot more from him.
Yeah, exactly that.
So, yeah, I mean, that's probably the guy I would say, yeah, for sure.
Very good.
Goaltending-wise, Neil, do you see any of these young... Besides Dawes, obviously, do you see any of these young guys maybe having a shot?
This year or just moving forward?
No, just moving forward. Like you said, you got two goalies that are... You got two goalies that are in their mid-30s, right? So you're looking at the pipeline.
Sure.
Which ones of these guys do you see ahead of schedule?
Well, there's two. One of them was already mentioned earlier in this episode, and that was Mikhail Yegorov, who is a freak of a goaltender. He had a phenomenal year at Boston University. I think really surprised the entire hockey world because nobody really knew about him that well until he got to Boston University, who's coached by former Devil Jay Pandolfo. And almost won a national championship, which would have been awesome. But he'll have a chance to do it this year, and I think that a full year playing in college hockey is going to be big for him. I would expect him to potentially be with the Utica Comets either at the end of this year or at least starting next season, not this year, but the following year.
Yeah.
And another guy who I've been a big fan of is Jakub Malik, who's going to be playing in Utica this year. Fairly talented goaltender, a guy that the Devils got in the later rounds a couple of years ago. he's not the biggest goaltender in the world, but he certainly plays big in the net. But also, I think the Devils are trying to average, in terms of goaltending height, I think they're trying to average something like 6'5", 6'6". I know it's a trend in this league now, but a lot of Devils fans have been jokingly saying, like, wait till we have the goaltending pair of Jacob Markstrom and Mikhail Yegorov, and the average height is 6'6". Like that's crazy when you think about it. But those would be the two guys that I would say for Devils fans to certainly keep their eye on moving forward, because I think they both have really, really high capabilities that they can use in the NHL.
Yeah, and we're all in dynasty leagues, so all these deep names, the guys, like we did a 4-hour and 45-minute live episode of the draft, round 1. So we do it every year. That's our season.
With two of those hours being so unnecessary.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, but it's our season finale every year, so we do it, and it's actually a lot of fun, and that's where we get to see a lot of these players and go deep on them.
Yeah, we make comparisons of our own.
We make player comparisons of our own. Yeah, well, Yegorov is the next Markstrom, so you heard it here first. Neil's words, not mine.
Is Matthew Schaefer the next Lindstrom in your guys' eyes? Is that what we're going for here?
Oh, no.
I actually had defensemen drafted last year higher than him.
Collective grunt there. That was impressive.
It's because I think we were all we all agreed that maybe those defensemen drafted last year that we would have probably taken over Schaefer this year.
Yeah, we compared Schaefer a lot closer to like a Heiskanen type two-way guy rather than maybe an offensive guru like Makar or something like that, right? So
he's a very talented defenseman.
He's really good.
I'm curious to know if he's going to play right away with the Islanders. I'm still kind of figuring. It's not been confirmed yet what the plan is with him. But
he's missed a lot of time, and that's where the fear is, right? You don't want to shove somebody into the NHL who hasn't even had a D minus 1 year because of injuries. So
I'm still upset the Bruins got Higgins. I can't believe he fell that far.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
This is how the Bruins are going to get good again in like 2 years.
Yeah,
exactly.
They
can never suffer.
Well, they faltered enough in drafts, so maybe
that one
this
year
was a little cookie that they.
Jake DeBrusk, that Jake DeBrusk year.
I think
15, 16, 17.
They skipped on Barzal and Chabot, and then
so did the Devils skipped on Barzal as well. So it's not like
that's true. I mean, the Devils didn't have 3 consecutive picks though.
That's true. Yeah, I can't. That was pretty bad.
That was pretty bad.
That one.
Do you want to go right into the season outlook?
Yeah, so
and predictions?
Having said everything we did, I mean, last year after the offseason they had, I was convinced they'd be Stanley Cup contenders.
Same.
So I actually had them in the final.
Sorry, I just to interrupt. Every offseason for the last 3 or 4 years, I've said the Devils won the offseason, and yet something would happen and.
Well, maybe this is the year they don't win the offseason, but they win the Stanley Cup.
That's exactly what
so you heard it here first, guys.
We got tired of winning the offseason Stanley Cup, so we were like, why don't we actually try to win the real thing and try to actually not like. And I think that was the thing. Like when you see like a lot of different grades from the Devils free agency, nobody's really giving them an F or saying that or an A+. They're kind of just like in the middle. Some people have given them a B or B+, because it's not like they need a ton. I think that they're closer than people want to admit. I think it's it's based on health. That's the problem with like, we can't simply say they're missing this, that, and the other thing. It's that half of the team was hurt last year and that's it. Like, what do I think the Devils would have faced off against Carolina better if they were at full strength? Yeah. I think they could have pushed it to 6. Maybe they could have pushed it to 7. Who knows, right? Like that's and that's the way that I look at it. But the Devils, in my opinion, as I said earlier on this episode, I don't believe that they're done because I don't believe that this is a team that you can feel super confident about going into next year. If you're basing it solely off of health, I think that's where you're going to run into problems. I still think another move or two needs to be made. And again, you still have to sign Luke Hughes. Like, he needs a contract. He can't just like not have one. And I don't see like there being a rift between the Devils and Luke Hughes. I think that Tom Fitzgerald told Luke Hughes, look, just be patient and let me make some other moves here, salary cap wise, and then we'll get back to you. It's not that we don't want to sign you or anything like that. And I think Luke Hughes gets that. I don't think he's worrying about it either. Having Jack obviously on the team will help in negotiations 100%. So I think that for the Devils, it's got to be, you can't be done, because that's what's making it hard for me to like give you guys like a, where do I see this team kind of going? Because like, I still don't think this is the full team that we got going. But I think if you were to ask me, I think this team is more than capable of making the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're capable of winning a round. I don't see them still having enough to make the deep run that we all want to see them make beyond the second round.
Mhm.
I think that, and you're going to have to go through Carolina. I mean, the first game of the season, you're starting off where your season ended the year before. You got to go to Carolina. I mean, I don't think if you need more motivation than that, you're crazy, because I think that right there needs to be like, you got to start right away and you got to make a statement right away. But I think for Tom Fitzgerald, the big thing I'll tell people is that his job is on the line, in my opinion. He has to, because I know people on the outside look at him as a pretty solid GM.
Mm-hmm.
But in Devils world, as we see, because we watch the team on a game-to-game basis, we know that the expectations are high, and our GM is not giving us 100% what we want. Look how disappointed we all were at the trade deadline. I understand that we were not at full strength, but you still could have been more aggressive. You still could have not finished in second place and getting A, B, or C player. You could have made a bigger push, but you chose not to because you wanted to essentially kick away the season because, Jack got hurt. Well, that's on you for not building a team that can withstand a blow like that if and when it happens.
And what message does that send to the team going into the playoffs, right?
That
I have no faith in you guys to do anything, right?
You're saying like, okay, like, I'll give you guys a little bit of help, but like, that's all I can give you. So now it's just like, okay, so now it's on you guys to figure it out because I did my job. Like, that's not what it is. Like, that can't be that. We can't sit here today and be like, we are comfortable with the team we have right now. No, there needs to be more done because Carolina got better. The Rangers got better. Even the Flyers, to an extent, got better. I mean, I'm not that worried about the Flyers. The Capitals, they're going to pull out another really good season again for some reason, because last year was absurd. The Blue Jackets are slowly getting better. I think that they actually, now with Chinakayov, I have no idea what's going to happen with that, although he was teammates for 5 years with Arseny Kritsiak. I'm just saying that might be a connection. Just saying.
Yeah.
But I think the Devils got incrementally better. It's not enough. It's not enough when you have the talent that you have on this team and the contracts that we have. Like, this is the time to strike. It's like having a rookie quarterback on his rookie deal with the team around him being really good. You got to win now before you have to pay them.
Your players, your good players are all hitting their prime. Like Hughes is 24, Bratt is 26, Heischer 26, Timo Meyer is 28, Mercer 23. This is where you need to start making the moves so that in 2 years you're competing for a Stanley Cup every year. So, and in I haven't even named your defense, where you have 21 Luke Hughes, Nemec 21, Casey 21. Like, this is the time where he needs to start making. And like I said,
all in.
Yeah, the biggest weakness for the Devils right now, anybody can see it. It's on the wing, especially a top six winger. So, I mean,
and health.
Yeah,
and
that's
before anything else. Health is the number one thing.
Yeah.
It's just about, can these guys get through the season and be okay? Like, it's exciting that the Olympics are happening and we get to see NHL players, but don't think for a second the entire time that I'm watching, I'm not terrified every 2 seconds. someone's going to get their you-know-what rocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that the entire Four Nations. I
Yeah.
saw, the amount of
Matt.
time. I just did a video today. Literally today did a video where I said that Jack Hughes' biggest issue is not that he's injury prone, is because he's not always aware of where he is on the ice. And he puts himself in a position where he can get his you-know-what rocked. And I've saw it numerous times. And if he's a little bit more, I don't want to say careful, but a little bit more understanding of he has a target on his back, and he he needs to know where he is on the ice and create moves where he can maybe slip out of a hit or brace for it better. I think the chances of him getting hurt decrease.
Yeah.
That's what I think the key is for a guy like Jesper Bratt. He's figured it out. I interviewed Jesper Bratt's coach in the offseason, his trainer, and he told me exactly that they've worked on ways of kind of slipping through things or bracing for these hits so that you're in a better position to not get injured and not get completely destroyed on a play, with a guy like Bratt being as undersized as he is, and the same thing with Jack. So like that's what.
Now that you mentioned Neil, Jack Hughes, I always found that he was one of the players that way too often ends up sliding, like falling and gliding into the boards at high speed. And like twice he had two big injuries like that. It's just like maybe he just has to like gauge when and where to use his speed, how, like in which areas of the ice, to what you were saying, to your point.
He has tremendous speed. I just don't think he always knows how to control it.
Yeah.
Where he can stop on a dime. He does fall more. I mean, there's literally, I don't know if you guys seen it, but there's literally a TikTok compilation of every single time a Devils player has fallen on the ice. It's actually hilarious. It's I think her name is Bells on TikTok, BELS. It's hilarious. If you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend it. She's from the UK, a huge Devils fan. She literally made a whole compilation every month of how many times the Devils fell over. And those clips were Jack Hughes like slipping, losing his balance. Even when he got hurt against Vegas, lost his balance.
Mm-hmm.
When he got hurt against St. Louis the year before and hurt the same shoulder he hurt this year, lost his balance.
Yeah.
He has a bit of a balance issue.
Yeah.
And that's something he needs to work on. Does he need to add some muscle? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs to also be more aware of where he is on the ice, because then he can find ways to soften those hits or soften the blow, but also not end up falling over yourself and breaking your leg or hurting your shoulder for the third time. So, but health is so important. It sucks that health is the number one issue of this team, because it's one of those things where you can't always control it.
Right.
No, it's not like where we're saying we're missing this player or that player. No, it's like we hear all the time, this team's healthy, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, okay, health. Look at the year that they were fully healthy in 2022-23. One of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
This is what they're capable of doing on a night-to-night basis if they can stay in the lineup.
That's right.
Okay, so safe to say, your bold prediction is that nobody misses a game for the Devils.
I didn't say that because it's not going to happen, buddy. It ain't going to happen that way. My prediction is that this team will finish second in the Metro. And
I like
think
it.
they will make the playoffs. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with that prediction.
So Carolina, Devils,
Carolina, New Jersey,
Washington.
and I'll go Washington, yeah.
I like it.
Do
I
you think?
question that goaltending in Washington. It's
Exactly.
can't be that good.
And last year they were on that hype of getting Ovi the record, so I feel they're going to be off that hype this year.
Well, no. Now it's going to be, is Ovi going to retire after this?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not saying it publicly, but they know internally. And
No, they should do the Brett Favre thing. Every year they just think that it's his last year, but they have constant motivation, and they just keep doing well.
Yeah.
Do you feel Dougie Hamilton will be a Devils all year long? Or do you feel that he's going to be the piece they're going to trade away to improve that top six?
I'm going to say yes. I think he'll be here the whole year. Because I think that the Devils are going to realize fairly quickly that they're very fortunate to have a guy like him and the ability that he can produce when he's healthy, as I keep saying with everybody on this team. I'm going to keep going back to it. But I think also one thing to keep in mind, and I know this is going to be a little sentimental, and I understand that doesn't really matter in this situation, but in 2021, Dougie Hamilton chose the Devils over everybody else. The Devils didn't even give him the most money in free agency that year.
Yeah.
He chose to come here. He chose to be a part of this. He was the beginning of he wasn't the beginning of the turnaround, but the fact that you were able to get the top defensive free agent and the top free agent to come to your team and produce at a level that he's been able to, I think is important. And I don't see a way. I don't see, unless again you're getting really good impact coming back. And I don't know what that is. Like I'm not here to trade Dougie Hamilton to the Leafs for Morgan Riley, like I've heard about 10 times.
Oh man.
The last 2 weeks. I'm not trading. Oh, and by the way, since we talk about the Habs, I don't want Josh Anderson.
Are you sure?
Nobody in Jersey has ever wanted him. That is a theory. That is a wet dream that Canadians fans have had for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
That they somehow think that we are so infatuated with a guy that can score maybe 20 goals.
Exactly.
Maybe. Very true.
A little, maybe if you play the Leafs 82 times.
Yeah, that seems to be the only team he scores on. Yeah, and we're not those kind of those kind of Habs fans, by the way. We like to think of ourselves a little more realistic.
You're the
winning the cup, right?
You're the Slavkovsky fans.
Yeah.
Love that kid.
Well, you know what? This was a lot of fun.
Amazing.
This was great. You were able to provide us insights that I think the listeners could really benefit from somebody that actually follows the team that closely. So really appreciate, Neil, you coming on here. Let's just do a recap of where people could find your work and what you're working on lately.
So again, for sure. Again, thank you guys so much for having me on. This was a blast. I had a lot of fun being on here. But you could check out, again, the podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, just search Devil State of Mind, Apple, Spotify, all those. And again, if you're on Apple or Spotify, please leave a 5-star rating. That would be incredibly helpful. And also, again, make sure to leave a rating for these guys as well. Follow me on social media at Devil State of Mind on Instagram, Devil State on Twitter. We're also on Facebook as well. Just search Devil State of Mind Podcast. You can also follow our TikTok at neil.villapiano. It's where I post all the clips from podcast episodes and graphics as well. A lot of fun. And also just go check out stuff on Blue Sky as well. Just again, Neil Villapiano Blue Sky. And last but certainly not least, because I like to keep this to the end, like and subscribe to the podcast over on YouTube. I'm about 11 subscribers away currently from 150. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Also, hit the like on any video that you watch, and also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time a new video comes up on YouTube. But guys,
if you're listening, let's get him to 150.
Let's get him to 150, guys.
150.
That would be fantastic.
And be sure to follow his socials because he started his player projections for the Devils, and you're going to want to see Timo Meier projection. I'm not going to spoil it. You go on his socials and you go see it.
Awesome.
Neil, you're welcome for Martin Brodeur, by the way. He came from our neighborhood. Just to let you know.
Of course.
Have a good night.
We are forever in debt to Montreal for that one.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we started writing our thoughts down on paper, it opened up endless possibilities. Ideas could grow beyond the borders of the mind, and it changed the world. Somewhere along the way, we lost touch with paper, distracted by devices made for every purpose except for thinking and focus. On edge, waiting for the next notification. But what if new technology didn't pull us away from paper, but brought us closer to it? Listen. That's not paper. It's the sound of the new Remarkable Paper Pro, rewriting the future. A paper tablet with a true color ink display, gentle reading light, and unheard of tactility. With digital features for taking notes, thinking, and organizing, without any distractions. Paper is about to change the world again. Get your paper tablet at remarkable.com today.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.